Good afternoon, people. It's so nice out. Oh my gosh. Have you experienced the day today? If you haven't been outside, please join me with your phone. I just realized that I'm on my Wi-Fi, so hopefully it'll cooperate. I'm close enough to the house right now, and we're gonna go back inside. Wait just a little bit, see if anybody joins us. But since it's so nice out, things are melting. The weather's great. We've got some cold nights coming up, but for the most part, the daytime temperatures are perfect for maple syrup and some garden maintenance stuff. So that's what I'm up to while I have some time and I'm on the stream. Got some background chickens, which is great. We're kind of like overcast today, but it is warm. I don't know how warm it is. I didn't check before I started this, but it feels great just to be in jeans and a t-shirt and, you know, getting my hands dirty again. So last year in the stream, I prepped these raised beds, added some leaves, added some more soil as I was cleaning up for the season. And so that's my rooster, Drizzle. Not sure if he's a fan of the stream or not, but we're about to find out. I love that he's right there. Hi, Drizzle. What are you doing? Oh, at the end of this stream, I'm hoping to make it about half an hour today. We're gonna go check out some eggs that I started incubating the other week. They're coming up on 2 weeks this Sunday in terms of age, and I'm gonna candle those and talk about how to start your own backyard chickens if you're interested. So yeah, today, to get started, I've got a couple things out in the garden and I'm heading back inside. So right now, I've just been picking up sticks that have fallen in the yard, leaves, stuff like that. Leftover containers of soil that, you know, whatever was in it was maybe an annual, is no longer with us, and I'm just going to add this to my raised beds. Plant a couple seeds in my raised beds. I have like polytunnel sheets that go over top of my raised beds and create kind of like a little greenhouse effect, which means I can start a couple things if it's this warm. Even though we're going into minus temperatures, it's totally fine to sow outdoors certain things, and I will show you what those certain things are. So just to get started, I'm just dumping out dirt. It looks like there is a root ball in here, but I'm gonna use that extra dirt. All right, I think it's an old hosta. I'm gonna leave that, but just a bit of extra soil in here so I have something to plant into when I show you. I am gonna do some indoor seed starting today. It's a little early for a lot of things, but it's a great time for hot peppers, sweet peppers, greens like spinach, and the brassica family. So I'm going to be starting some kale, cauliflower, and some, what else? Kalettes today, and some spinach. Got some seeds in my back pocket. Of course, I'm just super dirty already. I am going to be starting in some of these, and this is what's really funny, and I hope this helps some people understand how these work a little bit better, but this is one of those like Jiffy seed pellet starters that you can get, that you add water and it basically makes this little bundle. If when you're planting you do not rip these apart, I don't know where, I just found this randomly in my one garden, but if you don't rip these apart, they stay intact. So that just kind of tells you how strong they actually are if you plant this at the base of your plant. So even if you have a plant growing in this and you're planting it out, make sure you just rip down the sides to kind of open this up so the plant has, you know, some room. But these, I think they're biodegradable, but I'm gonna put this in the garbage because I don't want this blowing around. The chickens seem to like anything like this, so here we go. I'm gonna flip this around. So this is my raised bed at the moment. In the fall, we added some leaves, and we were pretty high around the edge, and over the winter, things have sunken down, started to degrade on those warm days, and I've added some compost to at least a half of this side. I've got some other stuff over there which I'll talk about in a minute, but I've added some fresh compost and I'm gonna start some seeds out here in some rows, and basically I'll start a bunch of them and then transplant them out when I need more room, but it's just a great place to start some seeds. So I would like to do a couple rows of stuff. I'm doing like a quarter of this raised bed, so half of the 4 feet. I'm kind of planting these rows all the way up to the camera. I have seeds in my back pocket here. It's all good. These videos are posted later on in our IGTV, so you can always rewatch them later if you didn't make it or if you can't stay for the live version. So I've got some Johnny Jump Ups that I'm going to put in that one row, and I'm just going to put a fair amount of seeds all together. Because the idea is they're only starting here, and then I'm going to lift them out. I've got some spinach from the Guelph Seed Library. These are our packages. It says the seed name, the variety, the year it was harvested. This doesn't have it because it was commercial. And where it's from, so you know what you get from the seed library. So that's really great. I'm going to plant some, I need to rip the lid right off, but I'm going to plant some of this spinach. If you've never seen spinach seeds before, they're pretty big, easy to plant. You can pick them up with your fingers if you have little kids who want to do it. So I'm planting those seeds fairly densely in a line here because I want them to sprout here, and then I will prick them or move them out when they are overgrown at the space. Kind of lightly covering them. I do have chickens, so I have to make sure that everything is kind of closed up, or they seem to get at everything. And then I'm going to do 2 rows of some wild garden kales from Territorial Seeds. They come in a bunch of different colors and textures. I'm absolutely in love. Some of these are pretty enough to go in with flowers, and of course they're all edible, and I absolutely love growing kale because you just pull the lower leaves and keep going and going and going. It's a plant that gives and gives. So when I did that up close shot, I think that was the best up close I've ever had on this camera on a live stream. But pretty much everything in the brassica family, so that's kales, broccolis, cauliflowers, the seeds are the same size, quite small, round, and so that means we don't want to plant them too deep. We only want to go as deep as the seed, so I'm really just going to put them in that row and then gently cover with soil. Again, I'm being pretty generous in my rows here because they're going to grow up and I'm going to take them out of here. Because I'll probably end up doing, I don't know what I'll do in this garden just yet, but it is in the middle of my backyard, so I like to keep things a little bit decorative. Back here. Okay. You cannot even see them in the soil, but they are there. And I've planted everything I wanted to plant. I've still got some extra seeds in this package, but I used quite a few. And then I'm going to cover them up. The soil is pretty moist, so I'm not going to heavily water these. I might come in with some water later. I've got a chicken visitor here. Where did she go? She's right behind me. That's Red, old Red. She's very smart, and she heard the package ruffling and she knew it might be treats for her. Where are you? What are you doing? Come here. I actually have a tattoo of Red on my arm. It's hiding under there. But that's her. You think I have treats? She likes my nail polish right now. So if you wonder what chickens get up to during the day, you have to ask Red. Anyway, so just planted up this raised bed. Normally I have to keep this closed because the chickens will get up in there. If she sees anything that she likes, she'll just jump in. This side of the raised bed, we had leaves that were added and some compost, and now things have worked out. I planted these kales. Some of them look better than others. They might actually bounce back despite looking kind of sad. But a couple of these look really good. This one in particular is some kind of ruffled Scarlet Kale that I've added to this raised bed. When, like, this is last fall, we planted these. There's a really good one. That one looks really great. Loving the color. This time of year when the light is like lower setting and plants are smaller, the colors are just absolutely super vibrant. But I've got a couple of these guys in here that might jump back. Like, I don't know. This one This one looks a little sad, but I'm not going to dismiss it. Well, I think we're going to dismiss it as no longer living. But the rest seem to have survived the entire winter here. I just gave them some water. I might do some more kale seeds kind of around this area since they're already in here. And again, once they grow up a bit, I'm going to transfer them out to a permanent location for the season. So, planted all that. Checked on those guys. This is kind of typical gardening stuff I get up to this time of year. Now, right here, I have some winter sowing containers that we did for a workshop with the Guelph Seed Library and myself. It's part of the Backyard Caring Program. And we are going to do another workshop on this Sunday at 3 p.m. And you can contact us and we will actually bring you everything you need. The seeds, the soil, and one of these containers or something very similar for you to do it with us. And so over Zoom workshop, it costs $10 with supplies, $5 without. I will show you how to do some winter sowing, which is a really cool technique to start a lot of stuff early outside. So got those going. Now, I'm a little bit paranoid about the chickens getting involved with things they shouldn't, so I'm going to close these up and then we're going to go inside. And I'm going to talk about some of the chores there. You guys look at the kale while I close this for a second. It's a two-handed job. There we go. Close this one. They're cut just big enough to fit. And any little gap means the chickens can get inside. So yeah, just cleaning up this time of year. Take those with me. It's just part of the chores. So if you're interested in doing some winter sowing, we're going to do a workshop on that. There'll be a post about that later. But yeah, on to our next thing. My yard is an absolute mud hole this time of year, so it's not the best. Oh, the chickens decided to go in my house. Excuse me, guys. So, second part 2 of 3 to this live stream today. I'm back in my kitchen here with my grow lights with dirty hands from outside. Let's get out here. So, there we go. Now, using a kind of a planting chart, you can look up what vegetables you can plant this time of year, indoors, outdoors. In terms of outdoor sowing, direct sowing, there isn't a whole lot you can plant right now unless you use this method that we're going to do a workshop on, so keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, indoors, peppers, tomatoes, greens, artichokes, I'm looking at a list right now, asparagus, anything in that brassica family, so broccoli, kale, kalettes, collards, things like that, leeks, kohlrabi, spinaches, onions should be started indoors with some warmth, parsnips, and various other things. Okay. So today my thought was I was going to do some brassica type stuff. So I have some really fun cauliflower here. This package from West Coast Seeds. I'm going to start some of these. And then I have some kalettes. Like I have everything labeled. Sorting different things. But I have some kalettes I want to start, which is really unique. Kalette is a cross between, sorry, I have some, Brussels sprouts and kale. And what you get is this long stalk plant, much like the Brussels sprout, but instead of Brussels sprouts, you actually get these kale clusters, which are like frilly Brussels sprouts. Really unique. They cook just like kale, so you can cook them. I don't think they're as good raw. I like them blanched, but I'm going to do some kalettes this year. All of these seeds are essentially the same. And the difference, I showed you guys earlier in this live stream, one of these pellets and how they can kind of stay together if you don't break them apart when you plant. These are great for short-term planting or if you're going to upgrade these into something different. They are just made of peat, so they don't retain a lot of moisture and they get really dry really fast. And a lot of plants will outgrow this size. So if you are starting things early in these type of, soil vessels, you add water and these jump up to this size. If you are starting them in this, make sure that you have somewhere to make these into bigger pots. So I'll show you that example of that. The other week, I have some cauliflower I already started. The other week, I started some peppers. Some of them are up. I'll show you those. I have them on a heat mat here that's quite warm, and that helps them germinate. Let's see. Let's flip around. So I started these guys last week. I started about 2 seeds in every one, and so some of these I don't see any action, which isn't good. Some of these I see 1, which is good, and some of these I see 2, which is bonus. So what I might actually do is get them apart, see if I can get both seedlings out. And this is a midnight pepper. You can already see that lovely purple color coming on that one. But yeah, there's some really unique ones in here, so I'm really excited to share those. So yeah, some of these didn't come up. I'm still hopeful they might. Peppers are kind of tricky. Like these take way longer than anything else to start. And over here, some really old jalapeno seed. Honestly, I'm lucky with what I have here. But I might re-sow some more just so this is a complete package. But yeah, those are the peppers started. And then the plan is that when I'm ready, or these are ready, I should say. This one's a little bit long for my liking. I'm going to take these out, add soil in here, and they're going to be transplanted into these larger pots. But for now, they're just in the smaller little starters. So yeah, I'm going to put those back up, and then we can talk about, well, actually, I can just show. This was lettuce that I started on the live stream a couple of weeks ago in a larger pot all together. I put a bunch of seeds in there, and it ended up being exactly enough plus 1 for this entire tray of 24. And as you can see, wow, the colors, the variety from that mix. Actually, this one, there was one in here, but it kind of dampened off. The base, I guess, was a little bit too low and it kind of rotted at the bottom. So I took that one out to avoid disease, but I stuck some other mystery seeds in there. So hopefully they come up. But yeah, I've got some really fun little lettuces that will be able to go out as early as they can. Or if they get too big here, I'll just eat them. But that's what we've got starting in here. And then I've got some other things I started on stream, not really starting, which is bizarre, but I've been experimenting with some older seeds, so I think it was bound to happen. So no need to look back up there, but here is my soil mix. Let's see if this will stay here. Right on the soil. This is my potting soil mix, and actually this is a great view because I want to show something. I like to use these bins as I'm filling up little containers or seed starting trays, just so I don't make an extra mess and waste my own time. But I've pre-wet this because I like to load them in when it's pre-wet, because adding water afterwards just makes a bit of a mess. It's not really necessary. So maybe it's a bit messy on your hands, but I'd rather wash off my hands for 10 seconds than clean up the floor for 20 minutes. So I already added water, and this mix has peat. It actually has some potting soil in it. There's some vermiculite in here, some perlite in here to help retain moisture. And I've added enough water. As you can see, I'm trying to form a ball here, and it kind of just springs back, which is exactly what you want to see. That's a good example, but any soil that you start seeds in indoors, you want there to be a little bit of nutrition, really good water retention, but not too much, but then light enough, airy enough that this new small roots can kind of grow through here and create a really strong little seedling for planting outside. There's always sticks and stuff, which is, if you got one of those in a little section where you're trying to start seeds, that's not the best because that takes up a lot of room. So if you see anything like that, just get it out of there. My rabbit's sleeping right now, but she loves to jump in this if I put it on the floor and just play with it. But yeah, so this is perfect. And I know it's enough water because it's moist, and if I squeeze it, you get some water out, but it's totally fine. Not really muddy or anything like that. There isn't a lot of sediment. This is mostly organic and peat mixture. So yeah, that's too much fun. Too much fun. And perfect and ready to go for this afternoon when I do some seed starting. Basic indoor seed starting I'm going to do just like I did outside. Not putting them super deep, but just low enough that they can get through the surface and not fall over. So my next and third part, I'm going to take you with me to my office where I have my incubator. Wow, time flies when you try to fit everything in half an hour. But I'm over here at my incubator. Let me flip this around. We're at a perfect 99.5 degrees. My humidity's a little low and dropping, but that's okay. I'm gonna water this when I get back. But in here, I've got a bunch of eggs. I'm gonna take the lid completely off because it's a bit of a pain otherwise. These are my eggs. I did have 2 full dozens in here, but some, of course, get culled. We're about 2 weeks in, and I will just show you. This egg was really good. It's the right color of eggshell to show you guys. Let's see. As you can see on that kind of left-hand side there, let's see if I can spin the egg. We've got the little chicken moving around. There's some veins on the side of the egg. So I know it's going well. And if I move up here, you can kind of see this light circle at the top of the egg. And that is actually the air sac that forms with any egg as it gets older. And especially when there's a chick forming in there, this will actually get larger and larger and larger and become the initial breeding space for that chick. Sorry, it's vibrating because there's like a fan. Oops. So yeah, that will get bigger and bigger, and when the chick is ready, it actually will break the drum of film underneath that and then break out of the egg from that area. It'll actually be lower down the egg. I don't have enough hands to show you. Now, what's fun is I've got some blue-green eggs in here, and as you can see, much more difficult to see what's going on. I can see that air pocket, but I can't really see inside, but because there is that air pocket, and then it's darker, I know that there's something going on in there. If I could shine the light all the way through the egg, it would probably mean that there's nothing in there. This one's a little bit lighter. I can see some veining. Now, one thing I've never seen before, and it's on one of these eggs, I think this one, the air pocket is on the side. I've never seen that before. So this chick is forming. There's veins and there is a living kind of embryo in there, but I've never seen the air pocket be on the side like that. So I'm really not sure what happened there, but I'd be curious to see if it actually hatches properly and survives because of that. So stay tuned for that little egg journey. But yeah, you can kind of see, if I get the candler on right, we can kind of see that veins. I'm going to twist him around a little bit. I think he's on this side. And there's a little chicken embryo swimming around in there. So yeah. Springtime is very busy this time of year, so there's always lots going on every day, and hopefully I can cover enough of that every week so that you guys feel prepared for your own gardens. So stay tuned next week, next Wednesday. I think I'll be talking about how to do tomato seedlings, how to start tomato seeds indoors and all that. So if you're interested in starting your own tomatoes, stay tuned for next week. And also I'll be doing a special live stream on how to do maple syrup bottling and production. So before we did how to tap the trees, how to get the sap. Now this will be how to take the sap and make maple syrup. So if you're interested in anything like that, stay tuned for these live streams every Wednesday. And I will see you next week. Bye.